From the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Welcome back to KPIX 5 this morning. The time now is 6:29. I'm Emily Turner.
Good morning. I'm Devin Fehely. A man suspected of shooting a county sheriff to death in Alabama is now in custody. The sheriff of Lowndes County, known as Big John Williams, was shot and killed at a gas station in Hayneville while responding to a call last night. Now, Johnson was the first elected sheriff in 2010. So far, few details have been released about what led up to that shooting. Investigators say the suspect, William Chase Johnson, was arrested without incident after he returned to the gas station around midnight.
A step toward recovery in El Paso, Texas, nearly 3 months after the deadly shooting at a Walmart there. Officials dedicated the Grand Candela to 22 victims of that massacre. The monument features 22 individual arcs coming together to form one 30-foot candle. El Paso's mayor spoke to the crowd at the unveiling yesterday.
Our community, our region, has experienced much pain this year. But in this, we've also seen how remarkably resilient we are.
The accused gunman pleaded not guilty to capital murder in a Texas courtroom last month. Authorities say he told them he drove to El Paso to harm Latinos. Mexican officials are now seeking to extradite him for terrorism. And the Trump administration has begun a new phase of its immigration crackdown, sending a Honduran migrant back to Guatemala. The man had been seeking asylum. The Trump administration is aligning the U.S. with the European Union and other wealthy nations that are making asylum harder to obtain. The new policy forbids anyone who travels through another country to get to the U.S.-Mexico border from applying for asylum at the border. That's why this man is being sent to Guatemala rather than back to Honduras.
Navy Secretary Richard Spencer is denying a New York Times report that he threatened to quit if a military review of Navy SEAL Edward Gallagher was not allowed to proceed.
There seems to be rumors out there that I threatened to resign. I have not threatened to resign. I am here. I work at the pleasure of the president. We've made great strides at the Navy Marine Corps team over the last 2 years. There's still quite a bit to do, and I hope to contribute going forward.
But speaking to reporters on Friday, Spencer reaffirmed his position that the inquiry should continue. The president tweeted Thursday, "The Navy will not be taking away warfighter and Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher's trident pin. This case was handled very badly from the beginning. Get back to business." The trident pin is worn by SEALs to symbolize their membership in the elite unit. The president had previously intervened in Gallagher's case earlier this month. Trump reversed his demotion for posing for a photo with the dead body of an ISIS casualty in Iraq. Gallagher was acquitted of a murder charge. There was a celebration of life in Santa Clarita for one school shooting victim. Special notes with pink hearts hang at the entrance to the church where Gracie Bergers attended. Hundreds of friends, family, and members of the community gathered yesterday to share stories about the 15-year-old. Her father played a video of the song Cinderella. He says it was their special song.
Her and I always talked about how it would be our father-daughter dance song at our wedding someday.
Gracie was in her freshman year at Saugus High School when a classmate opened fire at the start of the school 10 days ago. She and a 14-year-old boy were killed. More than 3,000 watched the celebration online.
One person is dead after a fire in Contra Costa County. It happened in the gated senior community of Rossmore. The two-alarm blaze broke out around 6:20 last night in a multi-unit building on Leisure Lane. The damage displaced 3 other families, and the cause of the fire is still currently under investigation. The fire marshal says the victim's name will not be released until next of kin is notified.
And some breaking news this morning. Crews right now are on the scene of a deadly plane crash in the Central African country of Congo. A local official says the aircraft crashed on takeoff with 17 people on board and landed in a neighborhood full of homes. 17 people were reportedly on board the plane, which was owned by a private carrier known as Busy Bee. At least 18 people were reportedly killed.
Well, as more people file claims against PG&E over wildfires caused by its equipment, there's growing concern among the plaintiffs that they'll receive smaller payouts. Under the embattled utilities bankruptcy plan, it agreed to pay $8.4 billion to the people affected by the fires. But as the number of claims grows, the amount of PG&E's total payout is still remaining the same. So some plaintiffs fear their share of the total payout could get smaller. Meanwhile, California Governor Gavin Newsom has issued an executive order aimed at streamlining wildfire recovery efforts. The order contains more than a dozen sections. It involves everything from housing to licensing fees. Included in it is a 3-year suspension of planning and zoning requirements for mobile homes. The order also calls for the state to waive fees to replace driver's licenses and birth certificates for those affected by the fires.
A traffic alert this morning for Bay Area drivers. Here's a live look at the Bay Bridge where Caltrans has closed 3 lanes in both directions for maintenance. Those lanes won't open until 9 this morning. That opening will be short-lived, though. Caltrans will close westbound lanes at 9 p.m. tonight, then eastbound lanes a couple of hours later. All lanes are scheduled to reopen by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. And the Bay Area's most iconic bridge also seeing heavy traffic due to closed lanes tonight. Southbound traffic on the Golden Gate Bridge is down to 1 lane, while the northbound is down to just 2. The lanes should be back open this morning. Overnight closures are expected to continue until Wednesday, so expect delays on those nights. All eyes were on the Harvard-Yale football game yesterday, but it wasn't the play on the field that was getting everyone's attention. Around 200 protesters from both schools stormed the field. They were rallying to bring attention to climate change and to call on both universities to divest from fossil fuel companies. But so far, that protest is getting mixed reviews.
I say, why not? I thought it was an awesome opportunity for all generations to be part together and understand where we're going in this world.
Maybe their approach wasn't the best, but at the same time, they are just expressing themselves.
Dozens of people were arrested during that event.
UC Berkeley is testing out the idea of dropping the SAT and the ACT exams from its admission requirements. That's according to 2 top university administrators, including Cal Chancellor Carol Christ. They say research has convinced them that performance on the tests is strongly influenced by factors like family income, parents' education, even race. And therefore, using them as a basis for admission seems unfair. The Cal State system is also reviewing the use of standardized tests.
Stanford University just purchased an apartment complex in Redwood City to house employees who work at a new campus nearby. The recently constructed complex on Franklin Street has 175 units, from studios to 2 bedrooms. The university plans to give priority to staff and postdoctoral students at its new Redwood City campus. The purchase price has not been disclosed, but a few months ago the property had an assessed value of $48 million.
Time for a look at this morning's top stories.
Police are trying to find out who shot 2 boys outside an elementary school in Union City. Both boys died of their wounds yesterday. They were shot as they were in a van just before 1:30 yesterday morning in the parking lot of Searles Elementary School. Police say there does not appear to be a connection between the shooting and the school.
And let's take a look. We have our weather for a 7-day forecast. There are some changes ahead. One of them is that on Monday we do have fire weather returning. We have offshore winds, dry fuels, and it's going to be gusty on Monday, though it will start to cool down as a cold front is moving in. And that cold front will bring some moisture on Tuesday. We'll be seeing anywhere from about 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches of rain, depending on where you are. Tuesday into Wednesday, showers petering out on Thursday for Thanksgiving. Before our temperatures are going to be cold overnight and chilly during the day. As for Wednesday, the biggest travel day of the year, you're going to need to give yourself extra time because those roadways are going to be wet, and there is also a winter storm warning in effect for the Sierra.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. CBS Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley is next here on KPIX 5.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll see you next weekend.